today. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. When life gets extra busy, all I really want is something quick and tasty that I can whip up for dinner in a flash. Am I right? Yes. You've had a long day. You want dinner on the table. So today we are making one of my easy weeknight favorites. We're making my salmon burgers. Now, I love these things. They're super tasty, and they're especially easy because instead of using fresh salmon, and I hope I don't lose you here, we're gonna use canned salmon. I know, she's not the prettiest thing in the world, but I do love it so, so much. Canned salmon is great. Somebody else has already cooked that for me, so it is ready to go. So I've got 2 tins of canned salmon here. And if the term canned salmon bugs you, just call it tinned. And it sounds really fancy, right? Feels like you're at a restaurant. Ooh, tinned salmon, I'll try that. All right, so I've got those 2 tins of salmon, and I'm just gonna add them into a bowl. Now, when you do buy tinned salmon, it does come, sometimes there's like little bones in it. There's a little bit of skin. I know that freaks some people out. If you want, you can pick that out. But for me, I just mash it up. It's really good for calcium. It's really, really good for you. And if it doesn't make you squeamish, don't worry, because also once these are done, you won't be able to tell it's in there. So just add it in. You can actually also buy tinned salmon with the skin and bones removed, so feel free to do that as well. So I'm just gonna mash that up and flake that. And listen, I love tuna, I love canned fish, I love it all. It's one of the things, it's something I always have in my pantry, and basically to make these burgers, all you really need is some canned salmon, some eggs, and some breadcrumbs, all of which in my house are pantry staples. So super simple. So I'm just busting that up a little bit, flaking it nice. That looks beautiful. So now we're gonna start building in some flavors. So the first thing I wanna use is 2 green onions. Now I'm using green onions as opposed to like a regular onion, because green onions are kind of like a soft onion flavor. They're not overly punchy. They don't need a lot of time to cook because since that salmon is already cooked, these burgers basically just have to like kind of come together. So having an onion that cooks off really quickly is good because then you're not gonna get like a big hunk of raw onion in your burger. So I've got those onions nice and thinly sliced. So I'm gonna add those on into that bowl. And then I can never say no to some fresh herbs. And if you don't have fresh herbs on hand, that's totally cool. But I'm gonna use a little bit of some parsley and a bit of dill. I love dill, right? Dill's delicious. Also, spoiler alert, these are kind of sort of fish cakes, but I put them on a bun, so I call them a burger. So don't tell anybody, it's all good. All right, now I'm just gonna totally take all of this dill from this dill plant. Sorry, little dill plant. And I'm gonna chop that up. What I want is about a tablespoon each of each herb, but I'm chopping up about 2 tablespoons each because obviously I can't say no to a sauce. So I'm gonna make a sauce with the rest of those herbs. But give that a little bit of a chop. You can be as like rough or fine as you want. So I'm gonna add about half of those herbs on into that salmon mixture. And now for a little more moisture and some color and a bit more vitamins, I'm gonna add in a 1/4 cup of some finely chopped up red bell pepper. So this stuff, super simple. You could also do like a jalapeno if you want a little bit of spice in there. But red bell pepper, a little bit sweet, super nice. So give that a bit of a mix up. And that's looking beautiful already. Now I'm gonna toss in some garlic because I can't say no to a little bit of garlic. But if you're not feeling it, feel free to leave it out. Again, all you need is that canned salmon, an egg, and a little bit of breadcrumbs. So I'm just gonna pop that right on in. There you go. Give that a mix as well, because we don't want one big garlicky bite. I do love garlic, but I don't wanna do that. Not to anybody, because you never know who's gonna get it. All right. Now to me, this actually looks like Christmas right now. The red and the green. So this is perfect for your next Christmas dinner. You're good to go. All right, now to bind everything together and bring this together, I'm gonna add in 2 eggs. Now eggs are good because they're gonna add a little bit of moisture, extra protein, so really good for that. And they're gonna bring in like binding power. So once those kind of cook up, they hold everything together. So give that a bit of a mix. But then to dry this out a bit, and I know that sounds awful when you're describing food, to dry it out a bit, that's not what you wanna do. But it's gonna help bind it more, is a little bit of plain breadcrumbs. You typically, when you're using breadcrumbs, I say that you can also use panko, but for this you wanna use fine breadcrumbs because it holds everything together and you're not gonna get like a little crunch in there. So about 2 to 3 tablespoons of some breadcrumbs. And if you don't have breadcrumbs handy, if you've got like a heel of bread in your freezer, whoopsie, just grate that on the side of your box grater and you got breadcrumbs. So you're good to go. I know, it's pretty good. I like not throwing things out. My husband's always like, why do we have so many heels of bread? And I'm like, what if I need breadcrumbs? All All right, that is looking beautiful. Actually, I'm gonna add in a little bit more breadcrumb. This is where you're looking for a texture and a consistency. Basically, you want it tight enough that it's gonna hold together, kind of into a meatball. I'm gonna season that up with a little bit of salt and pepper. That salmon is already a little salty, so you can feel free to kind of let it do its thing. Give that a stir. If you wanted, you could throw in chili flakes, any sort of herbs and spices would be great. But since this salmon is already cooked, it's not raw, it's not gonna shrink up like a normal burger. So typically when I'm making burgers, I like to make them bigger than the bun, but with these salmon burgers, you just need to make them about the size of your bun, and they'll stay that size. So this would make 4 burgers worth. So I'm gonna take some out, and basically what you're looking for is a consistency that when you make it into a ball, it holds into like a little meatball. So just pat that out into a patty. Again, about the size of my buns. I'm flying blind, my buns are in the oven. So we're gonna make them, see if this works. I'm excited about these. All right, now I'm gonna pop these into a pan over medium heat with just a little bit of oil in there. I would cook all these burgers at the same time, and I like a good amount of oil because it's gonna give me a little bit of a crisp on here. So pop that baby in. Already you can hear it sizzling and cooking together. That's gonna be a total dream. But now while that's doing its thing, I promised you a sauce. I'm gonna quickly go and rinse my hands off. And I don't know if you know me, but I love sauce. I can't say no to a little bit of sauce on something. So I'm gonna make the classic thing that goes, in my opinion, with any sort of fish cake, and that's some tartar sauce. I know, the king of sauces, in my opinion. So the first thing I need is about 1/3 cup of mayonnaise. So just pop that right on into a bowl. If you wanted to make this a little lighter, you could totally do this with like Greek yogurt or split Greek yogurt and mayonnaise, but I'm just going full mayonnaise because I like mayonnaise. Now, a little bit of some Dijon mustard in there is great, just for a little bit of a kick, just about 1/2 teaspoon. And remember those herbs we chopped earlier? They're going right on into the mix as well. Some bright freshness. Now, we've got dill in here, and I can't say no to a little bit of a pickle. So I'm also tossing in about 1/4 cup of chopped up dill pickles. I know, this is like everything I want in a bowl. I recently have loved mayonnaise, but I love it so much. Now I'm gonna add in some capers, and capers are really briny. They're super salty, just about a tablespoon. Looking good. And then I'm gonna toss in the zest and juice of about 1/2 of a lemon. So that's gonna bring bright lemon flavor. It's gonna be super tasty and delish. Tap that in. The lemon juice is gonna thin things out a bit, kind of cut through the richness of that mayonnaise. So add that on in too. Now, you can season this with pepper and salt, but hold back on that salt because those capers are really salty. So I'm just gonna add a teeny tiny pinch, give that a stir, and that tartar sauce is good to go. That looks amazing. Now, through the magic of television, we got some salmon burgers right here. I know. The golden brown crunch on there. Now, my buns are just over here, so I'm gonna grab those babies and then build up one of these burgers. Now, we like toasty buns in the Berg house, which also is a funny thing to say, in my opinion. Now, pop those down, grab some of those bottom buns, slop on some of that delicious tartar sauce, which I love so, so much. You can top these with whatever you'd like as well. But again, tartar sauce, a little bit of some lettuce on there, pop that down. One of those little salmon burgers right on the top. They hold together beautifully. You see all that color and flavor. Oh, my lettuce fell off. I'm gonna pop them on top. Pop that down. And then obviously a bit more sauce on top. I like a sloppy burger, what can I say? Perfect. Buns. And there you have a couple of delicious looking salmon burgers. Hey, Mary here. What did you think? Drop your comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more of the good stuff.